Hello, everyone. My name's Hank Setala,
And I am Casey MacBride.
and we're here with another fun episode of Stir Crazy Shamans. Welcome, and how much fun is this? We go live at exactly 11:11. We weren't even planning that.
Oh, did we really? That's
No,
magic.
we did. I was like, looking, I'm like, well, no crap, really. I wonder if that is significant because, of course, numbers are such an amazing thing when you can consciously use numerology and things to help create or just change things for yourself. It is amazing. And I will go ahead and make this public real quick because I always forget.
Yeah, and I kind of look at I see 1111, like 555, 444, 333 all the time, and I kind of look at that as like I try to pay attention. What was I thinking about? What was I doing in that moment, and try and see if there's kind of a correlation. And I tend to see those numbers as sort of like a reassurance. Like if I was thinking about like, oh, should I do this? With Shaman's Way or something like that, like with the business, and I see that number, I'm like, okay, that's kind of like confirmation I'm going in the right direction. But I know everyone has a different interpretation. I know like the different numbers have different meanings for different people as well.
Yep. And Megan Harris, she actually put in right at 11:11. I see the timestamp. She's like, ooh, tell me more. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Magic Mike almost saying hi. Mary Lee coming in saying blessings. Thank you all for tuning in for this magical episode of Stir Crazy Shamans.
And I just made it public on my profile, so we were all good to go. Magic awesome. Mike almost saying hi. I had to see what you meant by that. He just put the H. That's great.
Yeah, Magic Mike, you have to tell me. Well, anyway, he went to like this physical mediumship thing last night. There's this guy in town that will do like these. It's kind of an akin to a seance, but it's a little bit different. And there's like things called apports where they end up spitting out gems and coins and all kinds of things. And there's like a lot of point of view about that stuff being like gimmicked and set up. But apparently they're tied to a chair. They do all this crazy stuff, and then they produce these physical manifestations from spirit.
Mm. Yeah, he told me about that last year. He went to one also.
Yeah, and last year he got to hold the sheet, whatever that means.
Yeah, I think it was Magic Mike's wife saw me for a massage the day after. So they were both they had both just been to it. And they were telling me about the experience. They said it was pretty wild. They said one of the things they said was interesting when he spat these like gemstones out of the guy's mouth. They were completely dry. Was the interesting thing. Like I guess at one point he was like drinking water and stuff, but spat these gemstones out and they were like just completely dry, which is really interesting.
That is really interesting. And the best example of physical mediumship that I ever had awareness of, there was a guy who there was like a table and there's no tablecloth.
I can't hear anything you're saying because my Bluetooth is connected to my phone, and when a call comes through, no matter what, I can't cancel it, even if it's on Do Not Disturb. It comes through.
That's amazing because how long have we been streaming? Over a year? That's never happened before.
It has happened. I've just played it off.
Oh, so this is the first time I was talking about something you actually wanted to hear about, is what you're telling me. But anyhow, there was like a table, no tablecloth, and there's a box that's put on it, and with all these crayons and markers and things in it, and everybody's given out like a blank piece of paper, like cardstock, and they're instructed to put their signature on it. And then everybody takes these pieces of paper, they put it into the box, and while they do the seance and everything, you just hear all the stuff happening from inside this box. And at the end, there is a picture drawn of your spirit guide, and there's no way that there could be any explanation because there's nobody underneath the table. You can see underneath the table, like nobody's in there like drawing things. And even if they were, like the detail of these drawings is just immense. There's so much, it couldn't be done any other way. It's just really interesting. And of course that signature, you know that it was the card you put in.
That's fascinating. Huh. Well, I wonder, like, what about people like me who know their spirit guides and can see them?
Well, then you could be like, fraud, that's not my guide.
Oh, I'd be really curious to experience that, though. That is something I would be curious to. And I've heard some like they have like things levitating around the room sometimes, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it sounds pretty wild. I met someone who came to me for healing work. This was about a year ago, and they said that they were interested in becoming a physical medium, but they were having all kinds of problems with these spirits coming to them and like causing all kinds of like physical issues and things. And man, like whatever was going on with the entities in that person's body, like they were super, how to put it, I don't know if it was like they were protective of her or the opposite. They were like actively trying to harm her. But I mean, just the subtlest little trickle of energy I was sending to try and like harmonize things. And it was causing all this chaos. Like she almost passed out. She got lightheaded and almost passed out and all this stuff. And but she was saying like around her, all this stuff would happen like in her day-to-day life. Like things would get knocked off the counters and stuff all the time. But like she wanted to work with these spirits, which was really interesting.
Yeah, it's like during a seance or a dark circle, like you might call it in Lilydale, they would have like a trumpet, and it's not like a musical trumpet, it's just like a brass cone that is hollow in one point, and they would put glow bands or something that's luminescent, so if it does float around, you could see it, but you typically do it all in darkness, and it would float around, and I guess the small point of it would go up to someone's solar plexus, and you would like hear a voice like come out from them, and all kinds of stuff like that, ectoplasm. I've never sat in a circle like that, but the stories are that even like when a medium is like channeling that much energy to allow this physical manifestation to occur, that if somebody like accidentally touches them, there can be such an energetic discharge that it could physically hurt the medium and all that. So I never felt like diving down that road personally, but it's very interesting to watch. And there's I might mispronounce it, a yippee ceremony. It's kind of an akin to a sweat lodge, where the goal and target is to have physical manifestation within the ceremony.
Oh, that's fair. And now what? You said yippee ceremony.
Yeah, like ye yippies. There's a place off, not in Lilydale, that hosts. It's like outside the gates. They have a house that they will bring people in from all around the country or around the world sometimes, that has the ability to hold the space for these things to happen. So they'll do dark circles, seances. They'll have these yippee ceremonies. I'm probably mispronouncing it. My apologies, because I don't know the correct pronunciation of it, but it's all with the idea of this physical mediumship. But even back then, it was thought that the physical mediumship needed to occur because people needed to see that the stuff was real. And then, like according to Alice Bailey, as time evolves, it's going to go from like that physical mediumship to just the space of, you know, bringing information through, because people already know that it exists now. The need for physical mediumship, other than it being cool, doesn't exist the same way that it did like when the Fox sisters started developing spiritualism.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That is interesting. And but I still, you know, see there's a lot of people who, you know, you could give them a message from spirit and they may or may not listen. But if they receive that message from, say, like their deceased grandfather or something, you know, they're much more likely to like them. It's much more likely to have a deep impact on them and actually cause them to make change or something. So it's kind of interesting in that way, you know. So I definitely see like the place that all forms of mediumship have for people. But I do think, like you said, as time goes on, I think even that will start to shift. You know, people will start to rely less and less on needing to get information from like a specific person in spirit, and just know that the information is coming through from wherever it's supposed to come through. So, but I think there's still a lot of people who that helps a lot. I think not on top of just, you know, receiving information and guidance, it also provides, I think, a lot of like closure around certain things for people, you know, to hear, to have communication from someone who's passed on. So,
and sometimes that's like something that makes the person start to be aware of it. Like my teacher, Elaine Thomas, when she's doing public mediumship at Inspiration Stump in Lilydale, she looks for the husbands that were brought there by their wives, and they're like sitting there like this, like you can tell they don't want to be there. And she goes, "Spirit, this is our chance." And she intentionally goes to those people because she knows that if she can bring through a message and they can't rationalize it away, that it was so accurate, like how could this person possibly know? She's now given them an experience that they can't unknow, and maybe, just maybe, it will start their process of opening up and flowering themselves.
Yeah, and I know a lot. This is something I come across a lot when people are interested in learning, because, you know, people experience my healing work, and then some people want to learn, you know, to do what I do. or learn, at least like a lot of people are interested in learning to communicate with their spirit guides also, not just, and by spirit guides, I don't mean like your past grandma or grandpa, but I'm talking about beings like angels and star beings and elemental beings and like nature spirits, these kinds of beings. And when I teach people, a lot of people have this kind of like they're interested, they know a certain level of them accepts what they're trying to learn, and then a big part of their conditioned thinking mind very much like doubts the experience. How do I know I'm not just making this up? All of that. How do I know this isn't all how do I know it's not all in my head? This kind of thing. And I think for some people, they just need to prove to them over and over and over again by spirit. And I was one of those people because before I woke up, before I had my awakening, as I've said on here before, I was like a hardcore atheist. And like if it wasn't measurable by science, it wasn't real, all of this stuff. And was very dogmatic about that. And so when I started to have these experiences, spirit would would give me undeniable proof of something, and I go, okay, well, like I can't deny that, obviously. But then time would go on, and then the mind would come back in and be like, well, maybe I don't know. And then again and again, over and over throughout the years, spirit just beat it into my head with irrefutable proof that these experiences are undeniable and real, and to the point where like it doesn't matter how skeptical I was at one point. Like I've said it before, I would have to be an idiot to have any doubt anymore, just because of how much irrefutable proof spirit has given me. But not everyone's fortunate enough to have that right off the bat, and I think spirit chooses on purpose not to give that to some people as well.
It happens when people are ready to receive that experience for whatever circumstances led people to that moment where they can have that experience and it unfolds. But the important thing for all of us is to hold the space, to not force it. Because if you desire that experience for somebody, that might actually push it further away, because in the duality, every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But what space could we be to hold the possibility for people to step into that knowing on their own time and in their own way?
Yeah. And this is a big thing. And Zane has been talking about this in our apprenticeship. I talk about it all the time with people who are learning from me. But we need to, as a society, we need to reclaim our imagination. Because it's a big thing, people, whether or not they're going to like a physical medium or learning to communicate with their spirit guides or learning how to do healing work, whatever it is, we have this big distrust with our imagination. We say, oh, well, I'm just making that up. I'm just imagining this. How do I know I'm not imagining it? Well, our imagination is our most potent tool for creating and perceiving reality. It's a tool simultaneously. We perceive reality through the imagination, and we create reality through the imagination. It does both. And it is our most powerful tool as human beings for creating change in the world. And so I know, I have the awareness that was purposefully in our society bred into us to pass this on to people, pass it on to their children unconsciously, that stop pretending so much, it's time to focus on your studies, it's time to focus on math, stop playing pretend.
When are you gonna grow up and be an adult?
Right. We're taught that the imagination is kind of like this useless thing that was just for fantasy and only for playing when we were kids, when really it's our most potent tool. And so that's a big thing I have to reframe for people, is the imagination is not unreal. The imagination is a way for perceiving many realities. And then there's this whole absurd idea when I did start to kind of look into things, dive deeper after my awakening, I came across the idea of how absurd it is that there could be an unreal reality. People are saying, things like oh yeah, like the astral world is like that's like one reality, but it's not like a real reality. It's just like a made up reality. How can there be a made up or unreal reality? Reality is a reality, and so everything we experience is part of reality. And so I think we need to learn to trust our own experience more. Not just have faith, but trust our experience. For example, like what I say to people is, there's one thing when people say, okay, well, I just had a conversation with my spirit guide, but how do I know, like, for sure I was actually having a conversation with my spirit guide? So I'll ask them, well, you're talking to me right now. How do you know you're actually having a conversation with me? How do you know I'm a real person? And they kind of look like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, do you have to sit there and think like, okay, well, I can hear his voice coming through my ears, and it's between this and this decibel range, and I can like see this certain color frequency, and because of that, and the way that the light's hitting my eyes, I can probably deduce that this is no. You don't have to do it. You just know. You're talking to me. You just know. You just know that I'm a real human being, and that there's truth to my existence. You don't have to question that. There's no logical process for it. And the same thing when you start to have these experiences with spirit, you just know. There's a knowing. There's an internal part of us, a part of our sensory apparatus allows us to know that what we're experiencing is true and real. So it's just a matter of accepting that and trusting our own experience and not constantly questioning and doubting ourselves.
Very good. Awesome. That's a great conversation right there. We could start a whole nother show right now and go a different direction. No, it was really good. What questions do you guys have out there? Is there anything on your minds that you want to see us kind of dive into or go deeper into the conversation that we're having? One thing when talking about spirit, this is something from my mediumship training, is to just put yourself in the position to start using those tools of imagination, inspiration, of receiving mediumship messages and things like that. As part of our training, we had to do 70 documented readings and healings per year for 2 years. And just putting yourself in the place where you're intentionally opening up to have those experiences, there comes a tipping point where you start to trust that knowing, because sometimes we don't give that trust, that knowing credit and trust. But what would it take for you to start to be able to trust? And that's just practice.
Yeah, I know for me, when I was when I learned I had the ability to not only communicate with my own spirit guides but also other people's spirit guides, I just put myself out there. I went and found Facebook groups that they were like for practicing psychic development and things like that. And so I would make a post saying like, hey, I'm looking for 10 people to practice spirit guide communication with, and I'll give you a reading. I'll talk to your spirit guides. You can ask questions and stuff. And I just put myself out there, and then I'd sit, and over the course of like a few days, I'd do those 10. And then if I felt like I wanted more practice, I'd make another post saying like, hey, I want to do another 10 of these. And same thing with healing work. When I first discovered my healing abilities, like all these, 13 years ago, I would just go out there both in person and online. I would go out to random people like on the beach and things, and I would just like introduce. Back then I was so much more outgoing, had no fears around like just going up and doing crazy stuff to people in public. But I would go up to people and be like, hey, you have this pain in your shoulder. And they're like, how did you know that? And I'm like, well, don't worry about that. Are you okay with me doing some work to see if I can fix that and get rid of that pain? And they're like, sure. And then I'd go and do my process, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, the pain's gone. And I used to love to see that look on people's face when they would be sitting there trying to find the pain, but they can't, and just like their mind is baffled. And I used to love that experience. And but I would do that, and then I would like friends, family, anytime anyone mentioned pain, if I was around someone and they were like, oh man, I've had this headache, I would go up to them and, hey, can I do some work to try and get rid of that headache? I would go online. It's the same thing, make posts. I would make posts and on different groups online and say like, hey, I'm practicing doing healing work. Does anyone want virtual distance healing? And so I did a lot of work just to put myself out there and practice and gain confidence and also strengthen and kind of hone my abilities in the beginning.
And last year, did you have a sign that you did that last year during COVID? Didn't you go out to like Huntington Beach with a little shamanic healing sign?
I never did that. I made a sign.
Oh, okay.
But that was for the purpose of the YouTube channel. I wanted to film people to get them on the YouTube channel on Shaman's Way. So that was less for like practicing and more for like, creating.
Okay, at least I wasn't crazy. I remembered seeing that. But that was like just the ability to be that out there and really put yourself out there. That is like a huge gift in and of itself, and that's something everybody ought to consider taking away from your example with that is like show up. Like 90% of it's like just showing up and being present with whatever it is that you're looking to create and to manifest in your life.
Yeah, if you don't take action, the universe is only going to take you so far. I know there are some people, like the one big example is people want to manifest like a relationship with someone, right? And so they're looking online, looking at videos and stuff of like, how to manifest the perfect partner and how to instantly manifest a relationship and all this stuff, and going and seeing people, getting readings, all this stuff. But then they just sit around their house all day and they're just sitting there like hoping, like, I just really hope I find this person. Like, what do you think? Someone's going to come bust through your door and come into your living room and be like, all right, we're in a relationship now, and carry you away? Yeah. Like, no, you need to take action. Yeah, start. You do the work internally, put it out there, be specific. What are you looking for in that partner? All of these things. And then go out there, go to places. Like if you're looking for someone who's spiritual, go out to spiritual events, spiritual gatherings and things, places where you can meet people. And you have to do the work to put, and say, money, you're looking to manifest money. If you sit there and you're just, like I'd love to have millions of dollars, and, like I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to be a millionaire. And then you sit around and don't do anything about it. You just do everything exactly the same. Then the universe is going to be really, it could happen, sure, yep. But the universe is going to have a lot more difficulty than if you were to take action. And a big part of it is listening. Because spirit will give you these cues, right? You're starting to put something out there. You're starting to put an intent, something you want to attract, manifest into your life. Then something will happen. Either spirit will come through and tell you something will shine, a little opportunity will present itself, and you have to immediately take action on that. If you immediately take action on it, you're saying, yes, spirit, I'm listening, I'm ready to receive, and I'm willing to take action based on this. And then that's how things present themselves.
Absolutely. In fact, we were just talking about that on the stream with Dr. K prior to this. It was all about the consciousness, just being willing to be aware and follow the energy is like a huge thing. But if you slip into autopilot mode, there's all these potentially an infinite number of possibilities to help you actualize that you just pass on by. And, right. And never pay attention to it. It's so important that you follow the energy and see what matches that energy of creating that $1 million, like maybe starting a YouTube channel called Shamans Way or Stir Crazy Shamans or whatever the case is. Like that's how this all came to be, is we were just in a spirit lodge together, and the question came up, hey, why not start a podcast called Stir Crazy Shamans during COVID to bring a little bit of lightness to people's lives? And we just followed the energy, and it created so much for both of us, like beyond just this show. Like both of us are doing so much by putting ourselves out there and showing up for the experience. It's huge.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I know one thing I've told this story before. I won't get into that. I've told the story on here.
I'm sure everybody watching is watch whatever show you're talking about. You tell the story again. It's fine.
All right. So I'll tell a kind of condensed version of it. But during lockdown, I was a massage therapist, knew I wanted for years to go full-time with my shamanic healing, but was kind of stuck in the rut of doing the massage therapy thing at the chiropractor's office. COVID happened, all massage therapy shut down in Ohio for like a month and a half or 3 months or something like that. And so the first couple weeks, I'm not really worried about it, just enjoying my time off. And then another couple weeks went by and I'm like, all right, I need to figure out how I'm going to make some money since I can't work. And so I asked the question, what can I do in order to generate an additional $2,000 within the next 3 weeks or a month or something like that, I said. And then I was at the time doing like some practice readings and things like that with different people. And then I traded a reading with someone, an astrology reading. And I was asking them, like, I'm thinking about doing some stuff and, kind of like starting my own business, but I don't really know where to go. And I asked him, like, so based on this astrology reading, when would be a good time to start this? And he's like, right now. And I'm like, what do you mean right now? And he's like, dude, your chart couldn't be any more clear. Like right now is when you should start the business. I'm like, okay, I have no idea. So I sat there and I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to like what I'm going to do, how I'm going to attempt or approach this. And then Spirit came through really clear in my head and was like, go online and do a live stream doing spirit guide readings. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before. But I figured it out. I decided, I'm going to listen. I took that opportunity. This is two very clear messages from Spirit in a row. So I'm going to listen. So I went on, did this live stream, doing spirit guide readings, and right after that, I had a bunch of people from the stream messaging me, "Hey, how much do you charge for a full reading?" So I had to figure all that out, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I put it all together, created kind of my business name, made a Facebook page, all this stuff, and within like the first week of me doing these live streams, I generated $1,000, and then within the next couple of weeks, another $1,000. So I generated that couple $1,000 I asked for, and then it just started from there, and it's been growing. And now I've moved away from doing the spirit guide readings, and now I'm more shamanic healing is my main focus. But man, the business has just grown and grown and grown and grown over the course of this year, and it's been really amazing. Like to the point where the level of sort of clientele and how busy I am right now, I thought it would take me several years to get to this point, and I'm already here. And it's been amazing. But it's, I've listened. When Spirit gives me these prompts for things, I listen and I take action.
Right. And you didn't settle into, okay, I'm doing spirit guide readings now. When you had the awareness that, hey, I need to move over to do the healings, you were willing to let that part go. But what if you had been fixed that this is what I'm doing now, and you didn't open up the door to do this other stuff? Like, so it's always a constant state of I'm in the process. I'm never at an ending point. You're always in the process of change and for receiving more.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, you can't don't put handcuffs on Spirit and what it's willing to give you. If we decide like this is the way I'm willing to receive, I'm going to receive this way, then you're setting limitations on how the universe is going to give you abundance. If you're open to changing, being in a state of flux and moving with the flow of energy and following what's light, then it's going to be much easier for the universe to give you all of this abundance, possibility, all of these things.
Absolutely. How does it get any better than that?
Yeah, I love that question. I ask that a lot nowadays. How does it get any better than this?
Yeah.
Because it's like we've said, you asked that whether you just stubbed your toe or you just won the lottery. How does it get any better than this? The universe will show you how it gets better. And man, I tell you what, I am living my dream life. I've realized this several times, but I am like the life that I wanted to manifest like years ago. I had this dream, my dream life. And a couple of main points from that were that I would have my own business doing energy healing, that I would have my own place in the suburbs, a quiet place in the suburbs, have a close group of spiritual friends, that I could go on all kinds of fun adventures with, have experiences with, and I would have a teacher. I would find my teacher, my true teacher that I knew I had been looking for a long time. Those are just a few of the main points. All of those things, and way more.
And more. I was about to add that.
And way more I have shown up into my life, and so so I literally I'm living my dream. I am. So we can all manifest our dream if we really take the action.
And our tagline for Stir Crazy Shamans is changing the world through sacred play. We have that word in the tradition for it, Puklei. You approach this, and I've approached my life, especially in recent years, with this energy of it's all play. And you can't screw it up. You just, what if you could look at everything as, it doesn't matter what the outcome is, we're just playing. And that really opens up the door for receiving so much more, rather than coming from a place of, I've got to get it right, and it's got to look like this. That is so constricting to what the universe can bring you versus, I'm going to throw this out there. Let's play with it. What can we create? And in that energy, it's just like so much potential. And like you said, all that you put out there and more has showed up and then some.
Mm-hmm. Playing is huge. But like for me, I know finances for a lot of people is a source of stress. whether they're working a job that they hate or working a job that they love. For a lot of people, finances are a big source of stress. Earning money is a stressful thing. And for me, it used to be, but I did a lot of work on that around my relationship with money. And now, to me, it's just the most fun thing. Like, I'm just playing a game. It really is just a game. When I'm working at the business and putting things out there, doing these live streams, healing people, all this stuff. I'm just playing. I'm having the time of my life. I'm just playing this super fun game that I love to play and would be doing anyway. And because of that, all of this abundance just shows up in my life. And same thing, I've with all kinds of circumstances, relationships. I've been able to manifest relationships in my life. Just as not of like a serious like, oh, I need someone to fulfill this hole in my heart or whatever. Just like, what? I love myself. I love my life. Everything is wonderful, but like, it would be an interesting experience. It would be a fun experience to have a partner. And then like, boom, a partner will show up, and it doesn't always work out, but.
There's a book called Relationships, Are You Sure You Want One? And what if you don't need a relationship to be full and whatnot? But when the time is right, partners can come and go, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to lock yourself into a finite thing, But it will happen when it happens, if it happens, when it happens.
But I'm having the time of my life. Like, I'll sit here or whatever in my place, and I'll just think to myself, like, man, this is heaven on earth that we live in right here. This really is. Like, this is heaven. We've created it. This is paradise.
That is a great wording for a segue just to talk about something coming up that we're both going to be going to in August. This is open up to people that are not in the program, but we're having something called Return to the Garden. It's a retreat that's going to be happening in Virginia from August 8th to the 14th. You can find out details at emergenceofbeing.com, but it's going to be a week-long thing with our teacher, Don Zinkerfman, the author of Inca Mountain Magic, where we're going to be doing the Hatan Karpai, death rites, all kinds of different things from the Paqo Kuna tradition of Peru. And so if you're interested, if it feels light, we'd be happy for you to join us. We'll have a shuttle from Cleveland going down in a big van and all that good stuff, or you can drive yourself, or you can fly. There's an airport shuttle, so you could fly there and not even have to worry about driving at all. So there's all kinds of fun stuff coming up for that in August.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited about it, because the Hatan Karpai was to me, like, just some of the most powerful and fun parts of the apprenticeship, and the fact that it's happening as this big like communal retreat, I just think it's going to be the coolest thing ever. So I can't wait.
Well, it's going to be great, and we're going to be making a thing. What we won't always have it in Virginia, but Zane and I had talked about having a rotating retreat, like kind of a power spot type of thing. And we have students that are in Arizona and California, people up in New York. So there's a lot of places where we could go where we also have a pocket of students and have these, throughout the year or whatnot, or not throughout the year, but throughout the years we can have them. And Kimmy was just saying, great news. Maybe Kimmy will be joining us. That would be really fun. And Casey, I can't see the comments all of a sudden because it says I have some weird message. So I can't tell if there's another one that is good to put up or not. Cool.
Just says, thank you. Love listening to your messages. It was Janelle.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Casey's like on fire when he does his little online healing things, but yeah, it's really good fun stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of, check out Shaman's Way on YouTube. Shaman's Way. It's got my little, I don't know if my logo's anywhere on here. No, it's not, but,
well, we should change that. We will. Oh no. We put it in the upper corner. There's Shaman's Way, so you can check out that if you want to check out Sonic Shaman. That's what mine looks like. And then there's also, I don't have the logo for it, but there's Emergence of Being. There's 4 YouTube channels you want to make sure you're subscribed to: Stir Crazy Shamans, Shaman's Way, Sonic Shaman, and Emergence of Being. That's the places where, well, Casey has the one and here that he creates content. I create across the other ones when I have guests and things on, but it's always content that is intended to help inspire you to really potentialize your healing journey and to have more of your authentic voice in this world. Healing is great. We're really pushing people, inviting people to have more of them so that they could create these possibilities in the world, not just for themselves, but for everyone, being part of the kingdom of we.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have so much fun with it, man. Like I do these live streams, and we work on like an area that's either physically painful or emotionally blocked, but it is amazing, because they're just a condensed version of what I do in a full session. When I have a full hour, 90-minute, 2-hour session to work with someone, I mean, I do a lot. We go really deep, call on some really powerful allies, run some very deep processes. But even in these little 5 to 10-minute demonstration healings that I do, we create some immense change for people. I mean, we've had people with like total hip replacement, fractured pelvis, degenerative disc disease, rheumatoid arthritis, like you name it, we've worked on it. And people with severe, like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 chronic horrible pain completely reversed in a few minutes. I'm so excited by that. Like I get so high on life, being able to offer that amount of change to people that like, man, I want to spread this to as many people as I can. I want to really, really help as many people as I can. I want to heal the world one person at a time.
One of my favorite ones that you did was the solar triple one that we actually did in tandem on the call with somebody. That was like very cool. We ought to create a little bit more of that. I don't do nearly as much live streaming with healing stuff as Casey does, but I thought about what would it be like to get someone on camera, because I'm more of a yachai, like I'm more of a mental healer in a way. Like physical things happen too, but working with people doing processing using different tools from NLP and from access consciousness, from shamanism, and like reframing their entire world to step into possibility. But I'm more interactive. I would need someone like on camera to be able to go through that. Through comments would be a little bit challenging, but not impossible. So if you're out there and you're interested in being a live cadaver for me and creating something like that, I'd be very interested in stepping in a little bit more into that space.
Yeah, I'm sure there's possibilities, and I also stay tuned to the channels and things, because I want to be making announcements. Like I have this idea of holding like gallery healings and things like that, and like guided breathwork classes and things. Like we might incorporate a little bit of breathwork, and then you pay a small fee to get into the class, and then maybe you're like guaranteed a certain amount of time to be worked on and things. And then I'm teaching classes. We still haven't put together the spirit guide class, but we got it all kind of laid out and everything. We pretty much just have to pick the dates and
And my idea for the spirit guide class is eventually we want it on Transcendent Minds as like a buy on demand. Like here's a spirit guide class and you can just take it at your own pace. But for the first one, to help refine everything, like having it on a Zoom where it's going to be all live stuff and based on people's feedback, questions and answers, like really put together like a really potent, like available on demand class, or incorporate it with live stuff. I really love how the current program has these little videos that Zane has done that's like super laser focused on what's important. And then every week we have the live call to kind of ask questions and do ceremony and all the other fun things. It's been such a great combination.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love this. I love the new apprenticeship, man. It's really well done. It's amazing.
Yeah. And if you're interested in that, you got to wait till next year, though. We will be doing a Navigating the Sacred, which is like an 8-week version of like the fundamentals of the tradition, and that's going to be available probably in another month or so. We're going to announce that, but we'll have kind of like some taster things, but then the apprenticeship itself we do once a year. And even Casey will be able to. The second part of the School of Instruction that Zane kind of alluded to would be like people holding that Navigating the Sacred course on their own.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool. Yeah. I'm really excited to have been welcomed into the Wild Hearts Medicine Society as well. I'm really looking forward to what the future holds with all of that, because I'm very passionate about passing the Paqo Kuna tradition on, or the Kartari tradition, whatever you want to call it. But the work is just so powerful and life-changing, and I've never experienced anything even remotely close to this. In terms of how impactful it has been on helping me to grow and expand myself as a healer and as a human being. So I am very passionate about preserving this and passing it on.
Yeah. And for anybody who wants a taste of that, I don't have the link ready, but Zane's book is called Inca Mountain Magic, and it is a great overview of the tradition. And Zane's tradition that he's put together is called Kartari, and that is a form of cultural shamanism, which is deeply rooted in the Paqo Kuna tradition of Peru, but then has other influences as well. And all that we can probably have Zane on and do a deeper dive into all that, because even though I've heard it a bazillion times, like all the different lineages, I can never remember them all. all. But I know it's like the Corey Lasso tradition, the Inkari tradition, the Corredero, like the more coastal influences where they had a lot more Spanish coastal influences. The coastal regions where there's more Spanish influence, even some things from the African traditions are all woven into the Kartari tradition.
Yeah, and it's really something, man. If anyone is not just I don't know how to put this, because I think there are some people that don't quite understand, what the word shaman means and what we're referring to, especially because it's not actually shamanism, because only the Tungus tribe in Siberia are actual shamans. But if I would just say, if you're interested in spiritual development, learning to serve your community, spiritually, and also learning to heal yourself, to become a better version of yourself, to heal old wounds so that you're no longer hold back, so that you can truly move forward in your life in an empowered way. Take it, man.
It's about personal development and empowerment and flowering your potential.
It's really amazing.
In fact, that's one of my favorite parts of the Hatan Karpai, which will be done at the retreat, is a whole process of like your muhu koya, your seed of divine potential, where you have the ability to, really bring divinity through on this physical plane, nurturing that seed, sprouting it, and then flowering it. Because they say in the tradition that you refine yourself. You take a look at your hucha, your heaviness, and you transform that to flower your potential, because the royal hummingbird will come and drink from your nectar, which is the connection to Wiracocha. In a nutshell, that's, flowering your potential is the ability to then be able to walk hand in hand with the spirit of the universe to create divinity on the physical plane, to be in the world but not of it. That's what the tradition really does. Now we're going off on I just love the tradition so much. We could talk about it like forever. But start somewhere, whether it's this tradition or something that will empower you to have more of you than you ever have before, because that's really the thing, is to be able to be and express your authentic voice in this world, because we all have these amazing medicine gifts for people. And what would it take for you to have the confidence and the potency to be able to share that gift with the world and not be afraid of being judged for it?
Yeah, that's a big thing. There's a lot of people who have so much potency, and I know people who are so powerful and have so much to share with the world, but they're, due to self-esteem issues or confidence issues or whatever, they just don't put themselves out there. And now more than ever, like, we need people sharing their gifts. We need to come together and share our magic with each other, with the world. There's more people who are hungry for it than ever, and it's time that we start sharing all of our ancient and new and halfway ancient technology with each other, so that we can all come together and create this new, tribe of man.
Yeah, and that's what in the tradition, that's one of the prophecies, is the rainbow tribe of man coming together, sharing our gifts with each other, instead of having the idea that, well, the northern tradition is right and the southern tradition is wrong, or comparing the differences away, to really come back and start to blend these gifts back together in the spirit of the kingdom of we.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And good morning, Kimberly. We have someone else just tuning in. Good morning. Thank you. You picked a good day to tune in. This has been such a wonderful flavor of energy that we've been going through as we've been having our conversation this morning.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. It's a magical day, man. It really is.
And what would it take to have that magic in every day?
Yeah.
With ease.
Yeah, but you create it. You're the one that creates it. You decide, you decide whether or not today is a beautiful day or a miserable day. Some people think it's dependent on the weather. There are people that actually believe that, like, oh, it's sunny out, like it's a good day today, or it's rainy. Oh man, it's a crappy day. Like, that has nothing to do with it. It's your internal state. It's your own perception. You decide, is it beautiful or is it ugly? You can decide at any moment. And you can change that at any moment.
Yeah, and like the very first year of the apprenticeship, the very first weekend, there was this huge blizzard. And some might say that, it's a terrible thing to happen on the first day that you're supposed to be traveling and going out on a ferry boat to get to this cave and all that. But Zane said, this is a wonderful omen when you're going to go do this work. For the nature spirits to come out and meet you is like a huge, powerful omen. But point of view creates reality. We could have easily just said, oh, the weather's so crappy, let's cancel and reschedule. No, this is a beautiful day. And what potency has been added because of what showed up in nature. And we have someone tuning in just saying hello from the UK. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, Adrian reached out to me. He's interested, I believe, in learning. I don't know if I sent you, Adrian. I don't know if I messaged you about the apprenticeship, but if I haven't, I'll send you some information on that.
Definitely, Casey's going to be able to teach very soon. You'll have a 1 day or 2 day class coming up. Probably, you have to just create it. Just a few things that we're going to get from Zane and be able to roll that out, and having a lot of the people of the Wild Hearts Medicine Society out and teaching these classes to start giving people these tools to really potentialize their life and to be their authentic voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so much fun. So much fun.
All right. I'm kind of feeling this might be a good place to wrap that up.
I was just bringing up the video to play. Yeah, this has been so wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you just go to emergenceofbeing.com under live streams, there are links to all of our YouTube channels. So if you're looking to one place to easily go find them all, subscribe to them all, check out Emergence of Being. You can also find sessions for myself and for Casey there if you'd like to have a more personal experience. And then he was saying, "Hi, yes, I have replied to your message. Thank you." So he has gotten your information. So awesome. So amazing. How much fun are we going to have next time we do a Stir Crazy Shamans? And we got to get to our hiking and do one in the woods again. That is super, super fun. So
I almost forgot we actually filmed ones out in the woods last
We filmed
year.
a couple times out in the woods, at least 3 times. Yeah, I think once we tried it live and like the sun fried the equipment, and we realized that that wasn't a good idea. So now we find a shady place. We pre-record when it's in the woods. If we really have a good cell signal, maybe we'll go live. And if we do ever do it from the woods, we'll be going live to one location because it just kills the bandwidth when you try to do multiple. So definitely subscribe to the Stir Crazy Shaman YouTube channel. That's where we would stream if we're going to be doing a live stream from the woods. And those are so much fun. They're really so much fun. We got to create more around that.
Except for the mosquitoes are trying to devour my legs while we're
that's my favorite part. Like Casey's like, we gotta move, there's too many mosquitoes over here. Well, what it takes
sweet blood.
You gotta befriend the mosquitoes, my friend. And then Kimmy was just tuning in. I really enjoyed this today. Thank you, Hake and Casey. You are very welcome, Kimmy. How does it get any better than this? She's one of our new bars practitioners as well. So
very cool.
Really awesome that she stepped into that. And without further ado, thank you for being here. A Nike.
Arpichai sonkolai.
Which means thank you.
A dove from my heart.
Awesome. Till next time, everyone. Peace.